to Mornings with Mother, where authenticity lives and thrives to create a space of growth, healing, and joy. I am your host, Andrea Lawful Sanders, and each day we will cover the topics that are informative and engaging while learning from each other. Good morning, Sean. Go on over to YouTube, honey. Mother's over there. A.LawfulTruth Enterprises. I am so excited. Cal Jerry, do you see your video up this morning, sir? I'm so super excited. That was season 2, bonus episode 3 with the PHA, Philadelphia Housing Authority. And Kelvin Jeremiah, who was the CEO of PHA, had a great conversation with me about housing voucher choices. Like, y'all, this is not the housing voucher choices of old. You get to choose the most beautiful spaces where people are not embarrassed about where they will have people come to visit. Good morning, Bobby Carr. I see you. Good morning, Beatrice. I'm broadcasting live from Instagram and from YouTube. So we're moving our stuff to YouTube because we tend to get more value for what we're doing, and I can interview my guests from here in a way that everybody can see. Good morning, Marguerite. Good morning, Tracy. Good morning to all of you. It's Ressie. Good morning. So yesterday was a day, and I'm just grateful that the Philadelphia Housing Authority continues to entrust A.Lawful Truth to broadcast the amazing things that they're doing. So today, season 2, bonus episode 3, you can find us on Substack. You can find us on Spotify, and you can find us on Apple. And I uploaded a short on YouTube this morning with CEO Kelvin Jeremiah and I. So we're opening up the spaces where we can see all the good stuff that is going on. I am so happy. Welcome to Mornings with Mother, where authenticity lives and thrives to create a space of growth, healing, and joy. I am your host, Andrea Lawful Sanders, and each day we will cover the topics that are informative and engaging while learning from each other. Yesterday, good morning to each and every one of you. Yesterday, I moved from 4 a.m. until 10 o'clock last night. I am exhausted, but you know, I'm a sister of my word, and I will continue to do what I'm supposed to do. Good morning, Alexandra. I was the keynote at the Women's History event at the Community College of Philadelphia. It's their second annual event about women sharing their stories and finding their voices. And I got up on that stage. They told me I had 15 minutes. I worked every bit of that 15 minutes. And when I got off the stage, Pat Chiaraki, who was, an anchor at Channel 3 forever and a day, came over to me and said, I need to get to know you. How is it that I've never met you? So when I was getting ready to leave, she sat with me and we began talking. So she said, I want to experience you. I want to know what is it that you're about. She said, because there's something so very different about you, and you need to keep. She said, you need to keynote every event. She said, every event that people are happening, you should be there keynote. She said, because I've never seen anything like it. You impacted us in such a way. And I was grateful, even though I knew, good morning, Cal Jerry. Even though I knew of her, I had never met her in person. Happy Friday. And so she said to me, I just can't understand, for as powerful as your voice is and what you've accomplished, how is it that I have never met you before now? And I laughed and I said to her, that's because I stay out of the spotlight and I just get my work done. If they ever say that overnight success takes years, I have been doing this work for almost 30 years. Quietly, I was behind the scenes until I came forward to work publicly in media with all of you. So that's how you all are starting to know my name. I will. And so I will, Cal Jerry. And so I am grateful. And I saw the tears and people were just, coming up and having great conversations. And then I have 2 sergeant in arms that have decided that they will follow me wherever I go to make sure that I am safe. Wait, what? I just checked what? Okay, I'll talk about that later. And so I am grateful to all of you. I met another sister last night. I went to Mr. Man's jam session, and she said she introduced her mother to my show. Now her mother watches me on YouTube on their television in their living room. And she said her mother told her to tell me that this is just the beginning. that there are great things that are getting ready to happen because I am so authentic and honest. If I don't know something, I'm going to tell you I don't know. If you share something with me and I need to have a dialogue about it, I have covered stories that nobody I won't. I've covered stories that nobody wants to cover, which has led to other things that are going on. And so for me, it's the human interest stories. For me, it's making sure that you all have what you need in the moment. You need to figure out how to navigate through these times. Do you need to find housing? Do you need to find great doctors? That's what I'm doing. I'm not about the other stuff that most people do, which is, oh my God, we're going to cover this part of the news and it's going to be sensationalized. I'm not about the sensationalism. I'm about everyday people working through everyday life, trying to figure out everyday things. And so with that thought in mind, I'm going to have at 6:45, Councilmember Anthony Phillips, as we were going to talk about the budget. Came on last week, didn't have clear answers. So I said, this week, kind of take a look with your staff and come back tomorrow because we have questions. Now, I'm going to cover a little bit of news. And just want you to know, because somebody kept saying, stay home on April 5th. And I'm like, why? Child. This was written by Stacey M. Brown, Black Press USA, senior national correspondent. Tens of thousands of people in the United States and around the world are preparing to take to the streets on Saturday, April 5th, in what organizers are calling the largest single day of protest since Donald Trump was sworn in for a second term, with more than 600 events planned across all 50 states, Washington, D.C., and multiple international cities. The message is unified and urgent. Hands off our rights or resources and or democracy. In London, demonstrators will gather in Trafalgar Square from 3 to 5 p.m. BS time, joining the movement along with Americans, Canadians, Brits, and others from around the world. They are threatening to invade Canada, Greenland, and Panama, and daring the world to stop them. Well, this is the world saying no, organizers said. This is a crisis, and the time to act is now. And so, yeah, April 5th. Lots going on. You get to decide if you want to participate in these protests. Oh, thank you, Kel Jerry. He says, you're authentic, genuine, and kind. God blessings will always be yours. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So on April 5th, all of this is getting ready to happen. And, I had to go look for myself. Whenever I see things like this, I tried to look for myself to see what's going on. And so that's happening on April 5th. If you choose to be a part of this, please be aware that it could cause all kinds of things. So make sure you're prepared. If you are going to be out there for hours, put on your Depends. Yes, I said put on your Depends because there may not be a bathroom. Carry a backpack with snacks and water and whatever else you need to make sure that you are okay. And if you have to take your medicine, carry your medication with you. If you get arrested, if there's a chance that you will get arrested, make sure you have all your papers. Do you have your peppers? Have your peppers, right? And so, just know that know what you're walking into. Alexandra said, nope, I'm staying home. Oh, God, it's so funny. A lot of Black folks are like, we're staying home. We're minding our Black business. So I get it. Good morning, Jasenia. I was just talking about you and your mother. She says, it was great seeing you last night. Awesome seeing you too, my darling. Now, let me see what else is happening here because the world is in a, whew. This was written by Inside Radio on March 27th. It was updated 22 hours ago. They didn't give a name. The heads of the National Public Radio and the public broadcasting station faced hostile questioning during a House subcommittee hearing Wednesday. But the conversation over federal funding of public media remained largely unchanged. NPR President and CEO Catherine Mayer admitted that the public radio network hasn't done enough in the past to include conservative viewpoints, but said continued financial support is needed to help local stations survive, particularly in rural areas where federal dollars contribute up to half of their operating budgets. And so I had a conversation with a friend who said that NPR is in real danger of disappearing. And so you want to cover the local PBS stations. You want to make sure that you support them by sending in your dollars. They do fundraising every year. WHYY is our local PBS station here. And so you want to make sure when it's time right now, because so much is being taken, we have to take our own dollars and do what we need to do to help and support them. It is absolutely important, right? So, and then the last thing is I'm watching the time just to make sure that when he taps in, he can get in. This is the part that frightened me. David said, let those girls go to blows and fight for freedom. We make up 8 to 13% of the entire country, not enough to win a war, but enough to point the blame of a war. Sit your black behind there. I can't take it. I can't take it. David tells you how it is, right? Tamara says, and take the face access off your phone. So I have been, for those of you who have thumbprints, to get into your phones, make sure you take those all off and do what you need to do. Good morning and welcome to Mornings with Marvel. How may I help you?
Good morning. How you doing?
You were supposed to get in the link.
The link.
Yes,
Okay.
click the
All right.
link.
Let me try that.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. And so uh, we are in a really tenuous place in our history of these United States of America. People who have been our allies for as long as we can remember, going back generations, are looking at us side-eyed. Hungary and some other friends are telling their people, be prepared to be invaded, be prepared for war. We are just living the best life that we can here, because we're not hearing that. We're literally having to have, what's going on. Let me see this. David said, I know this is David. He said, dear black people, this is not your fight. Let me see. Good morning, Dennis. Good morning. Good morning. Uh, Alexandra says those stations also provide emergency broadcast in those rural areas. So there's a lot happening, and it's coming at us at a rapid pace, and so it's easy to disengage. It's very difficult to keep it going. From time to time, it gets a little bit wearing on our souls. So you have to find your joy. For me, it's getting in my garden. The other day, I did a major interview, major, and you'll hear it next week. And after I got off the air with this person, my soul was so roiled. I went into my backyard and just started digging in the dirt for a couple of hours, just digging in the dirt. And I started to feel better. But we'll talk about that another day. Canada PM Mark Carney says, old relationship with the United States is over. Written by Jessica Murphy and Ali Abbas Ahmadi, BBC News. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney said that Canada's old relationship with the United States, based on deepening integration of our economies and tight security and military cooperation, is officially over. Speaking to reporters in Ottawa after a cabinet meeting, Carney said Canadians must fundamentally reimagine our economy in the face of U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs. He said Canada would respond with retaliatory tariffs that will have maximum impact on the United States. Oh boy. Trump announced on Wednesday that he would target imported vehicles and vehicle parts with a 25% tax, stating this is permanent. Now, listen, I need you all, for those of you who are in the market to buy a car, you have maybe 2 months to do this before you can't afford to buy a car. It's hard to buy a car now in these Wacontan streets, but with a 25% tariff, those cars are going to be out of reach of many people. And so I need you to prepare yourselves, find yourself, oh Lord, sir. That's Councilmember Phillips trying to join me. Hold on. Good morning, sir. Did you see the link I sent you earlier to get into? Look on your text message, and there's a link that I sent you to get in with me on YouTube. But we're going to talk here today. Let's talk here today. Let's talk here today. Don't worry about it, because do you see the link? And see, he froze. He absolutely froze. Do you see the link?
No, I don't see the text message. I don't have it.
Okay, all right. Hold on one second. Because you just froze on Instagram. Part of the reason why I've moved over to YouTube is that Instagram sometimes give me a hard time and things are frozen and it's all kinds of stuff going on. So
All right.
hold
Well,
on.
send that link really quickly.
I'm sending it right now.
All right, no problem. Hopping on.
All right, bye-bye. It's right here. I don't think he sees it. There it is. Okay. Okay, I just sent it to him. So we're going to be, yes, Miss Tanita Love says used car lots are going to make all the money. All the money. So, that's what's going on here. David says, Black people, prepare to defend your home in your home. Do not go out into the streets and fight their fight. Wow, it's a lot going on. This man is still trying to annex Canada and Greenland. This is from, yeah, it's a lot. David Alexander, Alexandra says, David Alexander Jenkins, the paperwork is being renewed. Amen. Marguerite says, let's act like the gambler. Know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. This is not the people of color fight. Alexandra says that David Alexander Jenkins, the residents of Greenland, have spoken and want no parts of that impromptu visit. So I believe it's J.D. Vance, the Vice President of the United States' wife, went to Greenland. They asked her why was she there. They pushed her out. She was planning to attend some event, and she went to a military base because her husband had to go meet her there. They were not friendly to her at all. And so, there's a lot happening. There's a lot happening. And so, Black folks, Black women in particular, have stayed out of the fray because, we've just, good morning, Tamara. We've just had a lot going on. I remember in November saying to some friends of mine, yo, this is way bigger than you think it is. And they just, well, it is what it is. Well, now everybody looking crazy. There's Anthony. Well, good morning, sir.
All right, I figured this out. A new device to work on.
Yes, it's just like if
Morning.
I want to, and people are watching and talking to me in real time, and it's wonderful, and I don't have to worry about, stuff falling apart. This is Councilmember Anthony Phillips,
Okay.
from the 9th Councilmatic District in the Philadelphia City Council. I see that you've had a week. Yeah, I saw that you were in a picture with Will Smith. We've been playing Will Smith videos all diggity dang day. It was good. Tell us a little bit about that, and then let us go into the budget.
Well, we actually honored somebody that really deserved to be
Yes,
honored in the city of Philadelphia. So
yes.
there's some street namings that I question. There's also some honorings that I question. But Will Smith, Grammy Award
Mm,
winner. Also, Academy Award winner. I mean, he deserves all of the accolades for his accomplishments because he definitely mastered his arts. He's also been a contributor to the city of Philadelphia in terms of philanthropy, particularly the
mm,
Overbrook High School and some other school district initiatives. And
mm,
so, we're just very proud of him. And there was a
mm,
nice street we named the other day in his honor that was sponsored by Councilman Curtis Jones, and right near Overbrook High School, and it was
mhm,
so exciting. People, were happy to see that
mm, mm.
Will was getting his flowers while he was alive.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
am
that was
I
good.
am personally grateful to Will Smith because he's lived his life. Being a public servant comes with a lot of ups and downs, and he has lived his life in a fishbowl all this time. His marriage, this, that, all the other things. And I applaud him for continuing to rise
Yep,
up every time he's laid down. Someone tried to push him down somewhere. And this city of Philadelphia loves them some Will Smith. There was a video of
they
him and
do.
Billy the Kid. Man, we had a good old time
He's a
watching that.
beloved figure.
Yes. Yeah.
He's a beloved figure. So we're excited to do that. So I'm I'm ready to talk budget with you.
Let's do. Let's go. Let's go. Are we
All
ready
right.
this week? All right.
Yeah, we're ready this week. Got all of the numbers there. I had some time to deep dive into it.
Mhm.
Just so everyone knows, here's how the budget works. Here's how the budget process works in the city of Philadelphia. The mayor proposes the budget, creates a budget proposal first. Council has a budget proposal, but it's an internal budget proposal that is between each council member, which they would like to see in terms of funds, how they want to be funded, how they want the funds to be allocated, and oftentimes, we behind closed doors negotiate with the mayor about what we're hearing from our neighbors about what's important to them. But the mayor's budget proposal is much more public. And so the mayor proposed for the city's budget, it's called the One Philly 2.0 budget, outlines a $6.77 billion comprehensive plan focusing on public safety, housing, economic development, and improving the quality of life for the residents of the city of Philadelphia. So one of the first things that was talked about in her budget proposal is an allocation for public safety of $1.5 billion. So
wait. Hold on. Let me just so I'm clear. Hold on. The mayor $6.7 billion budget, correct? That's what she's okay. And out of that $6 billion, where are the line items? Knock me out with it now.
All right, so we're gonna go through the line items right now. So total allocation for public safety, it's going to be around $1.5 billion. Let me just let you know, for community policing expansion, the budget proposes new investments in community policing, focus on improving neighborhood safety. $400 million has been allocated for that in her budget proposal. Then for a forensic science lab, forensic science is something that is
that's different. Wait, hold on one second. Hold on, just so I'm clear. They are the public safety monies is different from the forensic science lab money?
Yeah, so actually I'll go through it so you can understand it even more specific. So for this particular year, class 100, which is salaries, those are wages, right? It's going to be $812 million. $812 million. If you round it up, it's going to be $813 million.
And that's for the city employees.
That's for the Philadelphia Police Department.
Oh, okay, for the police department. Okay.
Yep. Contracts and leases, that is some of the buildings and some of the contracts that they have for their work. That is going to be a total of $19 million. For supplies, equipment, as you can imagine, their cars and other equipment, that is going to be a total of $19 million as well. Okay. This will continue to work on, they're going to be doing security around checkpoints. I mean, they work at the airport. They do criminal investigations, which requires technology upgrades. So these are like the details that go into exactly what, the public safety is going to be. Now, also included in the public safety budget is the fire department. The fire department is $10 million is going to be allocated to them to upgrade medical emergency response units and then fire equipment for another $5 million.
Okay.
Actually, I need to get a picture of it so you can actually see.
Sherry, we're over on, hold on one second, council member. Sherry, we're over on YouTube, A.Lawful Truth Enterprises. We're all over here having great conversations. Good morning, my darling. Good morning. Council member Phillips, you said, did I mishear you? You said public safety. What was the $400 million for?
Yeah, the $400 million has been allocated for community police initiatives.
So this is different from. Hold on, I'm sorry.
Yeah, community policing.
Okay.
Yep. So that is, so community policing is the efforts in which, neighbor safety, basically people walking the beat, walking the streets,
right.
But also it deals with like neighborhood nuisance enforcement. So like, for example, problematic drug corners and streets are identified in the city. The officers will focus on protecting problematic areas. It's going to focus on the Kensington Police Initiative, which is basically citizen engagement, enforcement, and and the crisis intervention teams, right?
Okay.
So basically, that's going to be all of that. That's going to be a focus on that.
All right, hold on one second for me. I have a question. So public safety is for community policing. Then we have $812 million for salaries, et cetera, et cetera. So the police department got over $1 million.
Yep, 1.5 billion dollars for public
Okay.
safety, police department, the fire department, and the Office of Public Safety, which is headed
Okay.
by Adam Greer. That all
Okay.
combines for $1.5 billion in public safety work.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Now, right.
Now,
Go ahead.
going back to housing and homelessness. So, if we total up the housing and homelessness budget, that's going to be about $1.1 billion. Okay. And I'm going to actually pull that up right now in this booklet. But
The
just so you
entire
know,
the entire
yes,
budget is
1.
Go ahead, hold on, because we're having a thingy going on here where there's a slight delay between you and I. 1.5 billion of the $6.7 billion budget goes to the police department. 1.1 billion goes to the housing. Correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Then, and so just so you know, affordable housing development, they're looking to issue about $800 million in bonds, right? To support the development and preservation of 30,000 affordable housing units. And then $100 million is proposed for addressing homelessness, including
Can you
expanding
stop for a
shelter
second for me,
capacity.
please? Stop 1 second for me, please.
I'll stop
800
right there.
million. $800 million cannot build 30,000 affordable housing. So tell me where I've lost.
So
Tell me
that's
where
very
I've
true.
lost it.
So yeah, you're absolutely right. So what they're proposing, just so everyone's very clear, half of it is going to be in fixing up homes, and another half of it is that are currently there. Another half of it is going to be in creating new homes. So
Okay.
what they're saying, is around 13,000 new homes will be created, and the rest of the homes are going to be the rest of the housing, right, is going to be focused on around, which is about close to 15,000. It's going to be focused on preserving people's homes. So that basically means giving people money so that they can fix their roof, their bathrooms, their sidewalks through grant and loan programs that the city's going to be offering.
Okay, so where does hold on 1 second, because I remember PHA 4.5 billion that they were putting into housing. Does that connect with what the mayor is doing? Because there's an article here in the Philadelphia Inquirer that says PHA acquires 381 homes in Germantown for 75.9 million. PHA and the city working in conjunction with each other or not, and why?
Yes. So there will be there will be a lot of work between PHA and the city, because they are the leading people in creating these affordable housing in our city.
Okay.
But the difference is that the mayor is trying to find ways to could do work with PHA, but also work with the Turnkey program, which is in conjunction with PHA, to basically create these affordable luxury type homes.
Okay.
So
Hold on, because I've got to ask: is PHA mentioned in this budget at all? Like, so there are these 30,000 houses coming. Is PHA doing extra housing on top of the 30,000, or is the 30,000 from the mayor, and PHA is doing an extra whatever amount that they're doing?
Yeah, from that is actually not clearly explained in terms of like how PHA is going to be the money that's going to be allocated towards them to kind of create that housing. But I can definitely research that question and see if it's something that I can get an answer to.
Yeah, because it's important.
They're still working out a lot of the details of this plan.
Okay, because I'm wondering if the
Yeah.
left hand and the right hand are working together. It says here the Philadelphia Housing Authority acquired 4 properties totaling 381 units of housing in Germantown, part of a larger plan to acquire private sector buildings across the city. These are strategic investments to provide more housing options for PHA-assisted residents, and we want to do that in an area of Germantown that is quickly becoming gentrified, said Kelvin Jeremiah, CEO of the Housing Authority. PHA purchased the 4 properties known as the Green Manor Apartments Group for $75.9 million from private sellers. The agency would not reveal the name of the property owners, and so they gave you the names of the properties. So these are 67 units, 57 units in one, 91 units in another, 169 units, 167 units in another, in yet another. So I am asking, because of budgetary, $6.7 billion. I know for a fact that PHA has on the table $4.6 billion. The mayor's budget is talking about $800 million in bonds, and then there was another conversation about $2 billion total. Where's the other $1.2 billion coming from in the budget?
The other $1.2 billion coming from the budget. Not exactly sure in terms of that question. That's something that I can actually ask.
Okay.
Because that's what we're having more meetings about it.
Okay.
All the details are not outlined. I'm sharing what we have in terms of information. And see, actually, these are questions that when they're doing these hearings, we're actually asking a lot of these questions because unfortunately, they're still ironing out a lot of the details, for this housing plan. So it's not always thorough, but I will answer as much as I can.
Because I'm sitting on the outside looking in and I've been reading the news, I'm trying to figure out who's doing what. So that's a question to ask, as we talk about the budget and where we're going from there. Right?
So basically, your understanding is that you want to understand what the role of PHA is going to be in developing housing.
Right.
And then also there's something about the $1.5 million additional.
The 1.2 billion, because when I saw her address, it was 800, and then she said there was going to be $1.2 billion. And so then I went back because I had interviewed PHA. Remember now, I'm over here working.
Right.
So I had interviewed PHA some weeks back, and they said that they were investing $4.6 billion. Are they working in conjunction to pull these 30,000 houses together? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Councilmember Phillips?
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. And so that's important for us to figure out. Honestly, they should be working in conjunction. That should be easy. They should not be working not together. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes.
Okay. All right. So what else is added to that $1.1 billion housing budget?
Yep. So I will pull it up now. All right. So part of the housing budget. So again, no priority in this budget is higher right now than the 30,000 unit initiative for housing. So as a part of the funding for the program, the city proposes to issue 2 $400 million borrowings for a total of $800 million. To help pay for the cost of the borrowings, the administration is proposing a modest increase in the real estate transfer tax. The city portion of the rate would increase from 3.2% to 3.5%. That increase would generate $170 million over the life of the 5-year plan, helping to pay for a portion of the debt services on the home bonds. So just so everyone knows, the real estate transfer tax, when you go to sell your home and you're about to transfer the title and all that and more, there's a tax that comes along with that. So it's going to increase from 3.2% to 3.5%, which will generate, their suggestion would generate $170 million to help cover the cost of that.
It would generate 100 and stop 1 second for me, council member. It would generate 170 million of the 800 million that they're borrowing in the bonds.
Yes. Yep. It would generate $170 million.
Okay, so then my next question is, where is the rest of the money coming from? Where else are we making up this money to pay for these bonds? Because bonds are not given for free. Thank God for sitting on a school board. I understand bonds is borrowing, right? So
no.
borrowing a certain amount of money. Okay, go ahead.
So they're also the rate increase would add a one-time cost of about $300 for a $100,000 house sale. For the purchase of a commercial property valued at $50 million, the increase would cost $150,000 at the time of the sale. So they're also proposing in terms of revenue that the following happens. The $3.5 million to the general fund, we have a general fund that receipts from the tax is only a fraction of the amount projected when the tax was implemented. So in short, the revenue benefit of the tax does not outweigh the cost it creates. So lastly, they're proposing a $3 increase to the housing trust fund portion of the document recording fee to support $1.5 million in new tingle title investments over the life plan. The investment will help prevent displacement, but also generate revenue for the city. And so those are just two of the ways, right, that they have mentioned in terms of but it's not adding up to now the other part.
That's the question. Is it adding up to the $800 million in the right?
So what they're banking on is the rest of it coming through paying back over a 10-year span through increase, wage people, coming to the city through wage taxes, but they're also looking at, our BERT tax in terms of business tax. But they didn't outline that part. They just outlined like, hey, they increased a tax, right, to pay for a little bit of it, but they're banking on just like revenue to keep coming through wage and BERT tax, which is our traditional avenues of revenue.
Let us have a moment.
I'm just saying, and
let us have a moment.
We're not done. We're having a housing testimony, another one coming up, because we still have questions around this, and we haven't been able. I'm actually having one-on-one meetings to kind of learn more about this too, because we don't want to put our city in debt as we try to create this noble. And honestly, it's noble. But the problem is that it's a lot of money. Donald Trump is in office, and people have questions, so we just got to make sure people have their questions answered. So
yeah, okay,
and that's the big.
Okay, yeah. And how are we addressing the folks who are experiencing homelessness? Is that a part of the $1.1 billion that's in the budget?
Yes, so $100 million is proposed for addressing homelessness, including expanding the shelter capacity and providing long-term housing solutions for individuals and families experiencing homelessness. Now, what does that break down to? We did not give that detail, which is why we haven't yet. So the budget hearing for homelessness has not come up yet.
Okay.
Where they would provide a detail for us about like essentially what that would look like.
Okay.
But they're looking to do a lot, but they're saying, which is very general, they're not saying how many more units would be expanded, but provide more immediate shelters or short-term housing for people experiencing homelessness. And they're also suggesting that OHS will work to reduce the length of stay in shelters by policy initiatives this is the Office of Homelessness, that will facilitate faster transitions from shelter to permanent housing. They did not talk about the specifics of how.
Okay, but that's vague. That's vague, right? That's vague. Yep. That's giving us an overview. So when you have these meetings, what can we dig a little deeper into what does that mean exactly? Where's the money coming from? How long will the process take? That's the thing. Okay, so David Alexander says affordable luxury homes for the people who can't afford housing. Mic check. Is this thing on? The people have no money. The issue is not that we don't have housing, it's that we can't afford them.
That is very true. David Alexander is absolutely correct. The reality is that in the city of Philadelphia, we need to produce more jobs for people. If they can't, we can have housing, but they're not going to be able to pay for the housing.
Well, it's not even just so much more jobs, Councilmember Phillips. It's jobs that actually pay better, right?
That's true.
The Community College of Philadelphia just ratified their agreement for their staff. Minimum wage starts at $20 at the Community College of Philadelphia. Anybody making under $60,000 or less a year gets free health insurance. Like I'm looking for stuff like that that'll incentivize people to say, I can live I can live and do what I need to do to make sure that I can afford to live in a home, make sure I can afford the basic necessities. I'm not asking for a budget that is, untenable. And if the people see that there's an effort being made, as in and evidence by CCP, the Community College of Philadelphia, for those of you who are listening from other places, then we have to then ask the question, why are we not, why is it so vague over here? Or is this the way the budget happens every year, where we just give an overview and then you go into committee meetings?
Yep. No, this is what happens. We get as much information as the public gets immediately, right? And then we have to go as council members and actually ask the questions, that are like pertinent to the people, right? Because the reality of the matter is that when you do these budgets, they're a lot of times about trust, if you think about it, right? This is like they give these, a lot of times they get vague, things, because they're ultimately still planning things out. And it's more like, trust us, we're going to be, we have a plan, all those details are still moving, but they're still working them out as they're proposing the budget most of the time. And that is why, your questions are really important. Like, for example, they're saying that the number of houses, like, for example, number of households that they attend to place into permanent housing, for homeless, the homeless office is 13. FY 25 target is 1325. But they're not
1325
talking.
what?
Yeah, housing, number of households placed in terms of like
1,325?
25. That's it, for permanent housing for people who are homeless.
So Miss Tanita
And
Love
then the
says,
question becomes, so that's the number that they have, but the question becomes, like, now we have to ask the council members, like, how are you planning to do that? Like, what are you going to do to make that happen?
Tiffany says here, affordable housing is not really affordable for the average household. Rents are over $2,000 and homes are going for $200,000 is not affordable. So, Miss Tanita Love, hold on one second. It's A.LawfulTruth space enterprises. I'm in an orange dress with a purple jacket over. You'll find me. Cherry Greg just found me. So I know you can find me, honey. Keep looking. You'll find me. So, and she says we're spending $1 billion on policing and $100 million on homelessness. We need policing. It's especially with all the stuff that's coming, right? We need policing, but we also have to think about, people, basic needs, basic rights. One of the things that the mayor ran on is, cleaner, greener, affordable housing. These are the tenets of the things that she talked about in her, and we want her to succeed. Don't get me wrong. We absolutely want this mayor to succeed. First African-American female mayor in our city. So we want to put the tenets in place to find out. Because if I'm asking the questions, then other people are asking the questions too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead.
No. People are asking these particular questions. They want these questions answered, because at the end of the day, for example, people are saying, why would you want to spend money on, like, public safety in such a high rate, right, compared to something such as housing? And they're asking that question because many people believe that if you take care of things such as our parks, our rec centers, our housing, certain quality of life things, jobs, right, you won't have to spend as much money on public safety. Mm-hmm. But then again, they're also preparing, which is where we can't wait till we talk to the police department during their hearing, because hearings just started happening this week. We've only talked to the finance department only, and also the chiefs of staffs. That's it. We have not talked to the individual departments. But they're preparing money for 2026 because the World Cup and all those other people are coming. So the increase that you see is going along for a lot of safety initiatives as well. So, and that's important. Yeah,
People are talking. So Andrea says, is the money generated from the modest tax increase 170 million every year or over the 5 years of the budget? My understanding it was over the 5 years.
Well, can you repeat that question? I'm so sorry.
So she said, is the money generated from the modest tax increase? When I said it was 170 million, that was over 5 years, or was it every year? Where it would generate money to pay for the bonds. Was it for the entire 5 years, or was it every year for 5 years?
No, this is for the entire 5 years.
That's what
this is not for 1 year. This ain't gonna generate $170 million in 1 year. No, this is over a 5-year period. Good question.
Okay.
Thank you.
And David says, housing testimony. Where is the public's chance to ask the questions? Right here, questions came up with no answers because they were not thought about. So is there a way for the public to ask questions at these hearings?
Yeah, so here's what the public should do, right? We do have public comment, but that doesn't allow the public to actually ask the administration directly their own questions. But the mayor is going to be doing these town halls, which is allow the public to ask questions. Now, some of these town halls, you get basically a longer presentation than not as much question and answer. But what I would suggest is that you submit your questions to your individual council member in your district, and you pay it, and then they will submit those questions to your. That's actually a good question, David. You should do that. You should you should submit all your questions that you have about this budget to your individual council members, and then have your council members ask those questions to the administration publicly on your behalf.
So you because that would make sense, because if they can't ask the administration to, while they're there, then what's the point? And Andrea says, where can the public see the breakdown for the proposed budget so they can see and read it for themselves?
Oh, it's all online. Let me try to. I could put a link in the chat there?
Yes, you can.
I think so. All right, so I'm gonna put a link in this chat. But it's all online. Let me see. It's let me put it right here. Here we go, right here. So it's if you go to phila.gov and then you search and then it should be FY 26 budget. So budget 2026. So well, you can just go to us, phlcouncil.com, phlcouncil.com/budget 2026, phlcouncil.com/budget 2026. I'm gonna also put it in this chat right now too.
Thank you. This is Lord.
Oh, and this is why. So I'm grateful to be on here, because our team is literally we scramble when the budget comes out. I'm gonna tell you why. We literally just got the budget detail this week on Monday.
How is that possible? Answer this question for me.
I'm telling you.
How are you getting the budget days before? What's happening? Is this a normal par for the course?
This has been normalcy in the city of Philadelphia for a while. So what happens is that the administration provides the generalities during the council meeting, and it's like we want $5 million to this, $5 million to that. Like, it's generalities. And then so now the public is asking us questions, and we're literally getting the information as you're getting it. Then we don't get the details in terms of like how many staff members, wages, supplies, until they do their testimony that day. And then normally, if they're nice, they'll send it that evening, the night before. And so now we're reviewing all this information,
which you can't possibly go through, right?
We can't, and yes, can't possibly go through. We're going through it. We're getting information. So now I feel a lot smarter than I was last week. But the problem is that I still have questions because even with the details, right? Now that you have the details, now you have more questions that you need to propose, right? And so some of the questions that you all just mentioned, oh wow, wait a minute. So in order to implement this housing situation, is PHA and going to be what role are they playing in it, right? That's now an important question. You're absolutely right.
Right.
You know, and then some council members tend to focus because there's so many departments. I mean, we have about over, I mean, in the city over 60. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of departments in the city of Philadelphia. So some council members we will say in programs, departments and programs. So
Okay.
some council members, I'm only focused on these 10 departments, right? Because those are important to our neighbors. And then the other
Mhm.
one, so some people end up becoming experts on something more so than the other. So,
Right.
but we're all
So,
focused on this housing.
and housing
We're
is
all
huge. So
focused on
Monica says all of this
yeah.
is vague. Meetings on top of meetings that say exactly what. How does any of this trickle down to the regular people? Just money proposals. This is why Councilmember Phillips is on every Friday with me, because every Thursday the radio station would record it live from City Council. People will call me on Friday morning and go, I don't understand what the hell they just said. It says resolution this and resolution that. And so Councilmember Phillips agreed to join me while council was in session to kind of break down all the stuff that's going on. And as you can see, go ahead, Councilmember Phillips.
And based off of these questions, I'm thinking that here's how I should do it with you all for the next couple of weeks. I should basically focus because I was trying to give you a general overview, but every time I try to get a general overview, y'all jumping for the specifics. So
Yes. Yes.
I can't even get to the rest of the departments because
It's
y'all
the
want to.
Pacific, as the
So here's
Jamaicans
what I
would say,
think we
it's the
should do.
Pacifics.
Here's the specifics, the particulars. Here's what I think I should do. Next week, we just going to do all housing, everything
Yeah.
housing, all details,
Yes.
all focus on housing, and then maybe one other department that is important for y'all to learn more about. Is it Parks and Rec? Maybe I'll do Parks and Rec. I'll focus
It's
on.
housing, and public safety. Those are the two things that are bothering people right now because, again,
Okay.
I've heard nothing about the climate in this country. How are we going to protect the city of Philadelphia? What does that look for the citizens? What are the plans for us? What should we need to know? Are there leaflets? Are there things going out that tells us these are the things you need to know? Or are we just flying by the seat of our pants and hope like hell all turns out well when all hell breaks loose? That's the part.
That's
That's the
it.
part, Councilmember
That's
Phillips.
it.
And I know it's rough, and I know you're taking the heat from me
No,
every Friday, my brother.
it's not. But no, it's helping me. It's helping me because
Yeah.
what's going to happen by asking these questions? These are the questions I'm going to ask during these hearings,
And
right?
can we add
And there's some
education to that?
black.
Can we add education to that,
Let me
please?
tell you how big
Housing.
this budget is. We haven't even got to the part about like I was just about to share with you all about the taxes that are changing, right? We haven't even got to that part yet. So we haven't got to education. I haven't even got to DHS and transportation and SEPTA. So I mean, there's so many things. So what I think I'm gonna do now that I see how this, because I said y'all don't want the overview, y'all want
No,
the
we do not want the
particulars.
overview. No, no, no.
So,
We're smarter than
so
fifth
we're going.
graders.
So
We need
we're
we
gonna
need
do
the
it differently.
specifics.
Yes, I might have to. I might have to do 2 days. I might have to do a Thursday. Yes, I might have to do a
Yeah,
couple
don't
on
worry.
two
You
days
tell me
next
what
week.
you need. I'll make sure you have it. Okay? Because it is
Let's do that.
important. And so that people are educated on what they should be looking for when there are budget hearings. It has always been kind of a mystical thing. This is happening and that is happening. Well, how are we paying for it? Where's the money coming from? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. David said, Councilman, we need to know where what the minimal cost is to build a secure and safe house. What is the minimal payment to run an apartment building so that it maintains itself? All those things matter.
No,
I'm
I'm
gonna
telling you
save
right
this
now,
chat.
they definitely did not. They definitely did not answer that question. They did not. That answer is nowhere here. That is a question I can tell you right now. So that's a question that we actually have to beforehand ask them. And you know what? How about this? If the listeners, if you all have questions about housing, taxes, whatever, Write them all out.
Yeah.
Andrea can send them to me ahead of time,
I
and then by the
will.
time we get on air, I'll have all the research ready for y'all.
Hmm.
But I think here's what we're gonna do next week. Next week, I wanted to come back on Thursday at 6:45. I'm gonna just say it already, and we're gonna
Yeah.
do all things housing. We're gonna do
Right.
all things housing that we know. And then on Friday, we'll do what's the other one you said? Oh, public safety. All
Yes.
things public
For
safety.
safety. And
And
then we'll do
then
all things education because
all
education
things
is huge.
education.
The Department of
Yep.
Human, so
All things.
DHS, we got to address that, right?
Yes. Yes.
It's
And
just
then
a
you
lot.
have, people are interested in mural arts, I thought. I mean, that's also one thing. But some people are interested in parts and rec, which might be something huge for some people, which is our capital projects.
And I get it.
And
So,
then
so, so, so,
commerce.
Councilmember
Commerce.
Phillips, Councilmember Phillips, give me a minute. Parks and Recs
Yeah.
is absolute. We have the most beautiful parks here, and I get it. And there needs to be budget. But to David's point, we need to address and we need to have an emergency budget for counteracting what's going on in the United States right now. Canada just damn near declared war and said they're done with us. Greenland is having an issue over there. There's something is coming. We all feel that thing. How is it that no one is from the leadership level of the city? You know, what does that mean for the police department in protecting us? What does that mean for public safety? What does that mean for how we should prepare for what's coming? Or am I the crazy one?
Well,
Nothing's coming?
so I'm gonna tell you. So this is I'm gonna tell you all exactly what's happening. So essentially, what's happening is that the administration understands the psyche of Donald Trump. The psyche of Donald Trump is if we talk about him, he's like the person who reads every single news article, and then you bring attention to yourself. But the problem is that by not talking about these things outwardly, people are wondering as a public, what are we doing to get ready for the craziness that's happening with the federal? So it's like they're saying, "Oh, don't talk about it publicly because then he'll do more. He'll do worse." You know, he'll.
So without courage, which is the first of all core values, we can't do anything else. So we're concerned that if we say anything publicly, this administration will come. What about the people? The people are sitting ducks.
Yep. So their decision, what they're doing is that they're interested in just saying, okay, we'll just do the work and not actually comment about it. So don't comment on the work, but just do the work. You know, as opposed to saying, here's what we're doing to address Donald Trump. They'll just like, here's what we're doing.
Oh,
You see what
baby.
I'm saying? And
Oh, baby.
that's what's going
I
on.
don't care
And
how they
several
address it.
council
Just
members
address it.
Several council members have called them out for that. They just think that the public should have a general plan on how we're and say the word Trump, say it, but it's not being said. So in their mind, the best way to do it is just to do the work and not
You
say his
know,
name.
you know what? Okay, all right. So Andrea says, do you have a format for your constituents to submit to you? Where's the link? Google Form, something. How do people submit something to you?
Actually, absolutely. You know what? Thank you. I will have our team do that. And that way, we do not have one right now, but we can absolutely create a format for that. And you know what? I'm going to encourage some council members to do the same thing as well for their districts too,
Oh,
because I have a budget town hall for the entire district on May 1st at the Oak Lane Presbyterian Church, and so I look forward to seeing people there. But I'm going to actually send out an email and put it on our website
mhm.
with the link, and we'll have it up
Yes. And
by.
so give them the link
I'll
so
have
that they can submit to
by
you
the,
directly.
yep, by the no later than the end of next week. It will be up. That's what we'll do
Oh,
on our
Black
website, which is going to
Jesus.
be click on Anthony Phillips and you can find me. If not,
Okay.
email me. If you don't see it, email me at anthony.phillips@philo.gov. All
Ooh.
right.
And say that's Anthony Phillips at philo.gov.
Yep, Anthony.Phillips@philo.gov. All right.
You know, every time this
Ooh,
happened every year
I
around
know.
budget time.
It's like
What?
I have to be, and I'm being honest with you all because we didn't get to the Office of Clean and Green. They got whole new initiatives too, basically sanitation and streets. So,
And what is the budget for clean and
y'all,
green?
like I said, we're gonna break this down with y'all one by
Please.
one because
Yes.
y'all want the and come with y'all questions too because that way I can say, okay, y'all don't want y'all don't want the overview. I don't want to know how much it costs. I can tell you whatever question and because the questions that you have, we're still asking the administration. We're not done. Like we're getting the summary version. We're not getting the specifics. So you are asking for the specifics the same way we are as well. So hopefully I can. What I will do is that we'll do our research and ask them beforehand. So when we're ready, we're ready. All
Ooh.
right.
Ooh.
Thank you, Andrea.
Let me tell you
I
something.
know.
You better be lucky. Every time we get to budget season, I'm like this. This is insane.
Dude, it is. It is. I'm being 1,000% honest with y'all. This is how it works. This is how it works, and this is why, But you have a really smart audience, and they're asking
Trying to
questions
tell
that
you.
we as council members ask. We as council members ask, and this is a lot of money. I mean, a lot of the ideas are very
Mm-hmm.
noble, but
Mm-hmm.
it's they still in the world. I think the worry is. If this was under Bill Clinton, this would be a whole different story, right? Bill Clinton, Barack Obama. Oh yeah, this is
But
okay.
we're
Yep,
not. But we're not. And
we
we're
get hurt.
but
We're
we're not.
not.
And we're
Yes.
planning for a World Cup, and we might be in the throes of war by 2026. All that beautification that we're doing could be torn up in the streets.
And we don't need it. We need it. We're still lobbying the federal government for money to help us with the World Cup in 2026.
And one
We're
last
looking
question.
at.
One last question. Where is the soda tax money?
So we're talking about that now. We literally, all of the council members are on a rampage right now because this is something, this is my second year in. I sat here and I said to myself, it takes too long for these projects that are supposed to come from the soda tax to be done. And that needs to change this year.
Okay.
It's
Y'all,
supposed to be going to PHL pre-K. Our rec center, PHL pre-K, which is basically spots for pre-K kids to go to school for free, which it has. There's spots for that. There's about lately it's been last year about 800. Now it is also supposed to go towards our rec centers and our libraries improvement.
so where's
And
the
thus
money?
far,
Have you all
there's
seen the
been
money?
we've seen the money come out recently. Like now, it's coming out. Like for example, in Alney, we're finally getting our rec center done this fall. It's finally going to be completed. In West Philadelphia, Shepherd Rec just got completed after this was started. They started the beverage tax in 2017. Shepherd Rec Center was proposed to be completed probably around 2019. It is now 2025, and it is now they're just now doing a grand opening for that rec center.
Jesus Christ.
And
Okay.
they'll say that it's because supplies, costs change, developers, hopped out of projects.
Mm-hmm.
The pandemic slowed things up with supplies. So many, but they're like, no, people are not trying to hear that. So you
Yeah.
need to just figure out how to get these projects on rapid fire right now, so that we can actually
Ooh.
see the benefits of the solar tax. So yeah,
Okay.
there's actually a hearing. There's a hearing coming up about the solar tax too. I gotta get the date for you all, but it's
Okay.
not next week.
Well, as Patti LaBelle says, on my
I don't know where to start.
own.
At this point, Andrea, just send me the list of things that everybody want to hear, and I'll just be ready. I'm just gonna dedicate a whole hour for y'all.
We're gonna need to. We're absolutely. We're gonna because the questions are
Well,
coming
we're gonna break
rapid
it.
fire.
I'm gonna do. better yet, what I might do is I'm gonna a half hour on this, a half hour on something else, and we'll just keep it moving in that way, or a whole hour, because it's a lot. This is a whole lot.
So
Well, all right.
Shakila
Well,
says,
thank you.
hold on. All right, go ahead, my brother. Thank you
Oh,
so much. Thank you.
oh,
Thank you so much.
all right. I'll see you. All right,
All
brother.
right, bye-bye. Oh my God. Every year during budget season, I ask certain questions because I want to know, where's this money going? Where's the money coming from? I've sat on boards, right? Real functioning boards that said, this is what we're going to do. This is where the money is coming from. This is how we get the bonds. Bonds are when you borrow the money to pay for what you need to, but you have to pay that bond back in a certain period of time. Where's that money coming from? There's so much happening, and every year around budget season, I feel like I want to pull out the 2 strands of hair that I have left during my menopausal state that I'm in. If the math is not mathing, if the numbers are not adding up, I need people, and part of the issue for me is we get all in our feelings, but as leaders, you can't get in your feelings. The people of this city, the people of the Commonwealth are the ones that are going to feel the brunt of that in taxes every single time we look around. And so Shakila says, when the leader and council don't have one voice, it looks fractured and not on the same page. How are we one Philly, a united city, when we can't have a united voice on Trump as an example? And so people are feeling like they're sitting ducks. David said, child, we are dancing and I'm tired of doing this polka. Oh, Jesus. Tiffany says this budget is for gentrification, not for Philadelphians. And so Tamara says, so how can the public gauge what work is being done if you all are scared to tell us what work is being done? That's the question. You don't have to mention the president's name. Just say, in preparation for what we see as the climate in this country. Y'all need me to come right for you. In preparation for what we see as the climate in this country, there are certain things that we need to put together to make sure the citizens of this city are safe and secure, come what may. That came out of the top of my head. I just need us to figure this out because there's too much going on. And I get that people are fearful. I get it. Every morning I get up, I'm like, I don't want to get on the air because I don't know. People are being stopped in the streets and randomly plucked off the streets, whether you're a United States citizen or not. What is the plan? What is the protocol? What are we doing? And so I know we're looking forward to 2026, but I'm telling you, by June, we're in a world of hurt. What are we doing to prepare? What does that look like? We can't just move ahead as if everything is, everything, and then all of a sudden we're where? So I don't know. Jesus. Joanne says, so only conversations about dollars. Money may not help if disaster comes. Can't find shelter plans only for the homeless. That's true. But remember, Joanne, we've been having conversations here about finding your tribe, making sure that people in your family know where to be. Are you the safe house? What is your safe word? We've been talking about this since November 5th. We've been talking about this before then. So what is your plan as a family? We can't sit and wait for the government. Government can't save everybody. But what are the overreaching plans for us as a group of people that in the Commonwealth that says, okay, this is what is going to happen. This is what you can, even if you don't want to say it publicly, send us letters to our houses, damn it. Morse code, do something so that people are aware. Tamara says, I'm exhausted and it's only 7:30. Listen, it's 7:37 and I'm like, okay, I need to go back and lay down. I had a long day yesterday. I pulled an 18-hour day. I'm tired. I'm tired. But we need to consistently have the conversation. You think when I get up every morning, I'm not afraid of having this dialogue that people are like, I'm reading the news. These people are so, they're so vindictive in the way they look at folks. If you say anything, the latest thing was if you're coming back from the border and you leave out of this country, I'm telling y'all, stay your behinds in this country. Stay your behinds here. You leave the country, you're coming back in. They're taking your phones. And if you say anything negative about the president, you're in trouble. Wait, what? How that work again? So, but we keep, I feel like we are, what's the word that I'm looking for? I feel like we're in a space of, this can't be happening to us, but it is happening. So let me just go ahead and go on my cruise. Let me just go ahead and go on my trip. Let me just go ahead. Y'all, I don't know what else to tell you. And I keep telling you, because of what's happening and because so much is going on, and we're just kind of going, oh, well, it's only for those people. It's only happening to that group. It's only until you become, it's only. And then what do we do? How are we looking out for each other? What's your plan? Are you going to buy your canned goods as we described? Are you getting your gallons of water? Are you getting the things that you will need to survive? You can survive without food for 2 weeks. You'll all be nice and slender, but you cannot survive without water. And so I keep asking you all this. And truly, I'm just asking the local government to to figure out with us what is overall arching plan for us, for our safety as a city. What does that look like? What does it look like from the Commonwealth? I see Governor Shapira is taking names and not playing with folk. You cannot do this work without courage. I promise you, cannot do it without courage. And so I don't know. Laverne says this was loaded with a lot of uncertainty, but thank you, Councilman Phillips. And thank you, Andrea. You're welcome. What I love about Councilman Phillips is that he's going to tell you, listen, we only got the budget a day or two before. This is I'm telling you what we know as city council. Sometimes is when you wait, when Andrea says, while we wait for Councilmember Phillips, drop a question in Councilmember Gilmore Richardson's survey. Ooh, Lord. Thank you, Councilmember Phillips. Andrea, this conversation is fire. We need this conversation. No matter what, we kind of gloss over it. Well, the budget was $6.7 billion. And okay, let's get into the details of the budget. Like what does that mean? So that the average person can listen to understand and what it will mean for their lives. Y'all, I'm tired. I am tired. I'm tired. I'm just letting you know. So I'm getting off the air. Some of you will probably see me later on today. I need to gather my edges, and I probably need to go to therapy. And I've been very private. And I'm private. I've been very public about therapy because a lot of you believe, we shouldn't go, blah, 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 blah. Hey, the only reason I'm sitting here every morning, Monday through Friday, having these conversations is therapy. God, therapy, my dirt, my husband. Not particularly in that order, but you understand what I'm saying. So let's figure it out. We can't wait for government to save us, but we also need to know the simple things that we can do to get ourselves together. This episode of Mornings with Mother, I'm telling you, come Tuesday is going to be fire. Go check out season 2, bonus episode 3 with the Philadelphia Housing Authority. I was able to ask the questions of Councilmember Phillips today because I interviewed the CEO, Kelvin Jeremiah. This is my 3rd interview with him. So as I'm listening to him and I'm listening to what's going on with the budget, I'm like, how is this working together? Are we working in conjunction? What does this look like? But go look. I put up a clip of it here on YouTube with Kelvin Jeremiah. You can find it on Substack. You can find it on the full episodes on Substack, Apple, and on Spotify. Just go look up A.Lawful Truth podcast. You will find it. Thank you all so much for bearing with me. Thank you for joining me every single day. You do not have to, but you are here. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders. I'll see you when I see you. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye, my darling. See you Monday. Oh, Lord.